Shalom, shalom, Israel. It's Brother Noah. First, I want to give all honor and praise to the Most High and the Son Yahushai for bringing us together to do this wonderful class on this wonderful Sabbath. Right? I'm here with the Junior Battle Axes today.
Shalom.
Shalom. The title of today's class is "Humble Yourselves so the Lord can exalt you in due time." Kind of a long class. I got that from Capt Maccabees. All right.
Title.
Yeah.
Praise. Both of them.
Yeah.
Once again, humble yourselves so the Lord can exalt you in due time. All right, let's just jump right into it then. 1 Peter 5 and 6.
The book of 1 Peter is the 5 and verse 6.
Oh, yeah.
Humble yourselves, therefore, under the almighty hand of God.
So we're going to start talking about humbling yourselves, right? Read that from the top again.
Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God.
So you're supposed to humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. Why? Go on.
That he may exalt you in due time.
Because he's not going to try to exalt you when you're being prideful and all that. He's not going to give you blessings that way, right? In fact, he may reward you with evil, right? Go to Sirach 1 and 30. Yeah.
The precept today is James 4 and 10. I'm just reading right now. It's 2 lines. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and He shall lift you up. The book that's
1 and 30.
It's James 4 and 10. That's just the precept.
Yeah, James 4 and 10 is another precept you can write with 1 Peter 5 and 6.
The book is of Revelation 1 and verse 30. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul.
So if you try to exalt yourself and not letting the Most High exalt you, read that again.
And bring dishonor upon thy soul.
Oh, read from the top again.
Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul.
So you're gonna fall, and you're gonna fall as in like fall into sin, and you're gonna bring dishonor unto yourself, unto your soul, right? With that wickedness. Read on.
And so God discovered thy secrets, and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation.
So the Most High is gonna discover your secrets, right? He's gonna show your secrets. He's gonna show you secrets, and that's gonna cause you to be cast down in the midst of the congregation. The congregation is gonna know, oh, this brother is wicked in this way. They know not to mess with you in certain ways, right? If I'm wording that correctly. Read on.
Because thou camest not in truth to the fear of God, fear of the Lord.
So you didn't come in here, and you didn't come in the truth to fear the Lord, right? You didn't come in here sincerely. So you're coming in pridefully, right, for your own wicked agenda. So the Most High revealed and discovered that secret, and now you're cast down in the midst of the congregation. Go on.
But thy heart is full of deceit.
But your heart is full of what?
Deceit.
Full of deceit. Your own wicked imaginations, right? Let's go to James chapter 4 and verse 6. Yeah.
James 4 and 6.
I don't know why it was so hard.
The book of James 4 and verse 6. But he giveth more grace, which...
Oh, Slakia. Read that from the top again.
The book of James 4 and verse 6. But he giveth more grace.
So he's going to give more grace to what? Go on.
Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth the grace unto the humble.
So he's going to give grace. He's going to give more grace to the people that are humble, the people that are sincere in this truth, that are honestly trying to push to get to the kingdom and worship the Most High, right? But he's going to resist the proud, the prideful, the ones that are only in this thing for their own wicked gain, the ones that think that they're above the word, above the law, and above Christ and the Most High. Those are the people he's going to cast down in the midst of the congregation, reveal the secrets, and resist. Let's go to... Yeah.
My precept is, give me Job 22 and 28. 29, actually. Sorry. Job 22 and 29.
The book of Job, chapter 22 and verse 29. When men are cast down, then thou shalt say, there is lifting up, and he shall save the humble person.
as it was saying in James, it's saying the same thing here. He's only gonna save the humble person. Just when a person is cast down, you have to humble yourself from being cast down. It means taking the correction and understanding why you got rebuked. Only the humble person will be delivered or saved up. Yeah, that's my precept.
Come on, let's go back to James 4 and 6 real quick and just read over it.
The book of James 4 and verse 6.
I got precept James 4 and 6. Look at that.
All right.
But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he said, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble.
All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 23 and verse 12. It's gonna be basically saying the same thing. Matthew 23 and 12.
The book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 12. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased,
Go on.
and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted.
So once again, the prideful is gonna be brought down, and the one that humbles himself is gonna be exalted by the Most High. I just wanted to bring that out for a precept for that. But you have something? You have something?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay. Let's continue then. Let's go to Romans chapter 12 and verse 3.
I had one for you.
Said Romans what? Sorry.
12 and 3.
The book of Romans chapter 12 verse 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
Okay, Slaki. Read that from the top again.
The book of Romans chapter 12 verse 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
So the men that are among him, right? It's talking to the Israelites, by the way. In fact, let's go to Romans chapter 1 and verse 1. Well, Romans 1 and verse 3. Oh, verse 7. Slaki. Romans 1 and 7.
The book of Romans chapter 1 and verse 7.
To see who all these people that are among him.
To all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints.
Called to be who?
Called to be saints.
And if you go to Psalms 148 and 14, the saints are the Israelites, according to the Bible. Go on.
Grace to you and peace from God, our Father, and the Lord Jesus Christ.
I'm just clarifying that this letter that's sent to the Romans that are Israelites, right, is for, the Israelites. Let's go back to Romans. Wait, what was I? Romans 12 and 3. Yeah.
The book of Romans 12 and verse 3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
So you're not supposed to think of yourselves more highly than you ought to think. Not to think of yourselves higher than your other brother. Don't have that prideful spirit. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14. I think that's what I want. I want to take my red one.
2 Chronicles.
2 Chronicles 7 and 14. Hold up.
I think you get it.
We can get it. Yeah, we'll get
7 and what?
You want Galatians 6 and 3?
You should get what he's trying to pull. 7 and what?
7 and 14. 2 Chronicles 7 and 14 real quick.
The book of 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14. If my people,
Well, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. If my people, which are called by my name,
Salakia, no. Let's go back to Romans 12 and 3.
You don't want
I gotta use that later. No.
Are
you gonna use it later?
Let me
Okay,
get this
that's
real
fine.
quick then.
All right, go on.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 3, right? For if a man think himself to be something, right? Like the brother just brought out, think you something, right? Let's keep reading. When he is nothing, he deceiving himself, right? You're nothing, like, I don't know what scripture it is, but it says, you were formed by dust. You're dust. You're literally nothing in this truth, man. Right? What was you before this truth, man? You was nothing, man. You was a person who used to drink till he got drunk, right? Who used to smoke weed, right? Used to hoard his sisters. I mean, you were nothing, right? So don't ought to think yourself to be something where you're nothing, right? Well, brother Noah just brought out. You can go ahead.
Carl, that's a great precept. Let's go back to Romans 12 and 3 again.
the book of Romans 12 and verse 3. For I see, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you,
To every man that is among you, all the Israelites, right? Go on.
not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
So you're not supposed to think pridely above anyone else that any of your other brethren among you. Go on.
But to think soberly.
Think what?
But to think soberly.
Let's go to Titus chapter 2, verse 6.
The book of Titus chapter 2 and verse 6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Exhort to do what?
Exhort to be sober-minded.
So we're supposed to be wanting to be sober-minded, wanting to have a straight, a narrow path to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and to get to the kingdom, right? Just wanted to get that real quick. Let's go back.
Can you read? No, it's fine.
So instead of trying to see yourself higher than your brethren, right? You're supposed to think soberly, right? Read Romans 12:3 again.
You want me to go from the top?
No, you can read from where you left off. Just read the chapter and verse.
The book of Romans 12 verse 3. According as God had dealt to every man that measure of faith.
Read from but to. Read from but to think.
But to think.
But to think soberly. Read that.
But to think soberly. According as God had dealt to every man the measure of faith.
Because he gave every man his measure of faith, right? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4 and verse
Are you
7.
gonna read any more in this chapter?
I'm not sure.
Do you mind jumping down to verse 16?
After we get this.
Okay.
Ephesians what?
Ephesians 4 and 7.
The book of Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 7.
So he gave us Slakia. He gave us each faith and also our own measure of grace as well. Go on.
But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ.
So through Christ's sacrifice, through Christ dying on the cross, all of us got faith, right? But not all of grace, Salakia. But not all of our grace is the same as everybody else's. Your grace might be more than his, or her grace might be less than yours, as so on and so forth, right? You wanted to go to Ephesians, right? Not Ephesians.
No,
Romans.
Give me Romans 12 and 16.
The book of Romans 12 and verse 16.
Give it a second. Now go ahead and read it.
The book of Romans 12 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Be of the same mind one toward another.
Come on, be of the same mind. Let's get understanding. Keep reading this.
Mind not high things.
Mind not the high things. Keep reading.
But condescend to men of low estate.
Okay. Read the last part.
Be not wise in your own conceits.
Be not wise in your own conceits. We have to understand, we as a people, we are not God. We don't make decisions. We're not above God. We can't think over God. So don't be wise in your own conceits. Don't make yourself to be up high. It says, guess what? Consider yourself down to a low estate. Read 17.
Verse 17. Recompense to a man evil for evil.
No, read that over.
Recompense to no man evil for evil. My bad.
Go on.
Keep reading.
Provide things honest in sight of all men.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men. It says recompense to no man evil for evil. This is how you show yourself to be humble. Sometimes by holding your tongue or letting things go. Sometimes everything doesn't need to respond. Sometimes being quiet is the best way to react to certain things. That's it.
Dang, I just realized I skipped the verse, but it's okay. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 4 and second. No.
Get it.
Now we're gonna go to 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. Let's go get the verse.
You sure?
Yeah.
Fourteen, 7.
Second,
14,
14.
7 and 14.
7 and 14.
14.
The book of 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14.
Mhm.
If my people, which are called by my name.
So once again, if his people, Israelites, right? You can also confirm that in Isaiah 44 and 21. Go on.
Mm-hmm.
Shall humble themselves.
Shall do what?
Shall humble themselves.
Go on. Not be prideful. Go on.
And pray. And seek my face.
So you gotta pray and seek his face. Prayer, fasting, studying, giving alms, keeping the law, statutes, commandments, all these things, right? Go on.
And turn from their wicked ways.
Uh-huh.
Then will I hear from heaven.
So only when you do these things will the Most High hear you from heaven, right? Let's go to John 9 and 31.
And I just want to say this while he's getting that sounds a lot like Deuteronomy 28. Guess what? If my people hearken to me and observe to do my laws, such as commandments, guess what? They'll get the blessings. But if they don't, it's a flip side to that. They get the curses. That's literally what Deuteronomy 28 is explaining right here. Just that exact verse. Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. Now we know that God hears nor not sinners.
So God doesn't hear sinners, right? Which is in Sirach 12 and 6. Go on.
But if any man be a worshipper,
A worshiper.
my bad, my bad, it's, worshipper of God.
Read that from the top again.
The book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. Now we know that God hears not sinners.
So the Most High doesn't hear sinners, right? But what? Go on.
But if any man be a worshipper of God,
If any man, which is the Israelite, he's a worshiper of God. What? Go on.
okay, and do it his will.
Mm-hmm. What is his
Him
will?
he hear,
Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Go on.
him he hear, him he hear.
So he will hear them. He will hear them that are doing his laws and worshiping him. Right?
Right, can I get a precept?
Yeah.
Give me the book of James chapter 4 and verse 6. Right, y'all gonna see how this scripture somebody already got it.
We already pulled that one. Yeah.
Oh, somebody already pulled that.
James 4 and 6.
Oh yeah, my bad.
If you want, we can read it.
Oh no, never mind.
All right then. Let's go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14. We're gonna finish that out.
Second Chronicles?
Yeah, chapter 7 and verse 14.
Precept to that is Proverbs. Precept to John 9 and 31 is Proverbs 15 and 29.
Con, if you want to get it,
I'm already here, baby.
it's up to
That's
you.
a-
Go ahead and read.
Wait,
All right.
what's going on?
Well, go ahead and read that then.
The book of
2
Second Chronicles, chapter 7 and verse 14.
Mhm.
If my people, which are called by my name,
Uh-huh.
shall humble themselves
So if Israel will humble themselves, go on,
and pray and seek my face
and pray and seek his face and keep the commandments and so on and so forth, go on.
and turn from their wicked ways,
Uh-huh.
then will I hear from heaven
So when they humble themselves, they pray and seek his face and repent by turning away from their wicked ways, then you'll be heard from the Most High. Then he'll exalt you for that humble spirit and for keeping his commandments, right? Go on.
and will forgive their sin
And forgive their sin, go on.
and will heal their land.
And will heal their land. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 1.
Did I pull Galatians
This
4
is-
and 6?
Huh?
Did I pull Galatians 4 and 6? Never mind.
If you want to, you can.
The book of Second Chronicles, chapter 12 and verse 1.
Okay, so we're gonna go into a little story that's gonna show you how what we just read in 2 Chronicles is gonna, like, as long as you humble yourself, the Most High will forgive you for your sins, right? Go on.
And it came to pass when
Well,
Rehoboam,
read book chapter and verse again one more time.
the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 12 and verse 1. And it came to pass when Rehoboam has established the kingdom
Mhm.
and had strengthened himself,
Mhm.
he forsook the law of the Lord.
So after Rehoboam established the kingdom, whenever it was going off again, he established it and strengthened himself again, just so he can forsake the law forsake the law yet again, right? The law of the Lord. Read on.
And all Israel with him.
And all of Israel with him, right? Because if the ruler is evil, so is the
Nation.
so no, not the nation. Slacky. I'm trying to roughly paraphrase it.
Yeah, if a wicked ruler hearken.
A wicked ruler. Slacky. If the ruler is wicked, so is the servants.
You want the precept?
Yeah, go ahead and get the precept.
Give me Proverbs 29 and 12.
Yeah.
You want me going?
If you're already there, then.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 12.
Mhm.
If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked.
Con. If a ruler hearken to lies, all of the servants are wicked. That goes to saying if the ruler gives lies or goes into false idols, the servants are also going to be wicked and go into those false idols as well, right? Let's go back. 2 Chronicles 12 and 2. 2, yeah, 2.
The book of Second Chronicles, chapter 12 and verse 2.
Mhm.
And it came to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam,
So in the 5th year, so after, well, yeah, basically in the 5th year, go on.
Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem because they had transgressed against the Lord.
So Shishak came to make war to battle Jerusalem, right? because the Most High used him as punishment for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's go to Proverbs 21 and 3 for that. 21 and 3, I think that's what I want. Because 21 and 1, my bad, 21 and 1. Because the Most High will use whoever he wants to use to bring punishment unto us. Right? Like how we used Esau to put us into this horrible captivity.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 21, and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
So the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Whatever the Most High wants that king to do, he'll make him do it. Go on.
And I just want to say this, and just like it was king then, guess what? It's president now. Anybody it doesn't matter because the Most High God has created everything.
President, governor, emperor, whatever it is, the Most High will sway that heart to whatever he want, to whatever is to his will. It's like it. Go on.
As the rivers of water.
As the rivers of water, that's how he'll control it. Go on.
He turneth it whithersoever he will.
He'll turn. The Most High will make that king's heart or that president's heart do whatever he wants. Right? Yeah, you can pull it.
Yeah. Can you give me Isaiah 45 and 7? Actually, Isaiah 45 and 5. Let me go there first.
All right.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 5. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me.
Guess what? The Most High God is saying, don't think too high upon yourself because I'm the only God. There is no God beside me. I am the Almighty. I am the omnipotent. I'm over everything.
Omnipotent.
Yeah.
Omnipotent. Yeah.
Jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. I form the light.
Yep.
I create the darkness.
Reread that over.
Verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace.
Like it was saying over there, he controls the king's heart. So if he wants the king to be peaceful, he'll make peace. Keep reading.
And create evil.
And guess what? He creates evil as well. A good example of that is Esau. Keep reading.
I, the Lord, do all these things.
The Most High God said he does all these things. Keep reading.
Drop down, you heavens, from above, and let skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation. And let righteousness spring up together. I, the Lord, have created it.
It said, he, the Lord, has created it. Now read verse 9.
Verse 9. Woe unto him that striveth with his maker.
Woe unto him that has strife with the maker. He like he says, anybody who has this strife with the maker is not humble. They're not humbling themselves down to the power. Keep reading.
Let the pots herd strive.
Read that over. Let the what?
Let the pots herd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it,
What makest
thou? Or thy work he hath no hands?
Guess what it's saying? It's saying pretty much here. It's the potter in the clay analogy in the Bible. Guess what? The Most High God, he's the potter. He's the mason. He's the one who made all these pots. And the pots are not gonna go up to the person that made them and say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? That's not So we as a people have to humble ourselves down to what it was saying, like in Second Chronicles 7 and 14. If we humble ourselves down to him, guess what? He will do what verse 8 says, and guess what? He will pour down righteousness. He'll open up the earth, and he'll let righteousness spring up together. But it's only if we keep his laws, statutes, and commandments by humbling ourselves down.
And there's another precept for what Brother Joe brought out. I'm going to read it, though. It's Sirach chapter 33 and verse 13. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure. So if you're a potter, right, and you got some clay in your hand, you're fashioning it to whatever you want, right? It can't talk back. You can't do anything against it. So, reading on. So man is in the hand of him that made him. So is man in the hand of the Most High, right? To render to them as liketh him best. The Most High will make you for whatever he wants to make you for, or however he wants to make you, right? I just wanted to pull a precept for that, so y'all can write that by that verse if y'all want. Sirach 33 and 13 goes with Isaiah 45 and 9. 45 and 9, is that what you read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get more?
No.
You can go ahead and go back. Yeah.
Let's go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 2.
The book of 2 Chronicles 12 verse 2. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, because they had transgressed against the Lord.
Go on.
With 1,200 chariots and 70,000 horsemen. And the people were without number that came with him out of Egypt. The Lubims, the Sisaks,
The Sukims.
the Sukims, and the Ethiopians.
So the Most High had the Shishak, king of Egypt, come to invade Jerusalem as what with 1,200 chariots, right, and 70,000 horsemen, which is 60,000 horsemen. And the people were without number that came with them out of Egypt, because out of Egypt also came the Lubims, the Sukims, and the Ethiopians, right? So let's go to Psalms chapter 83, because all the nations they'll take that chance to try to destroy us whenever they can, especially when they know that that's whenever we broke the law, because they know that if we break the law, the Most High isn't with us.
Come on.
But read Psalms 83, because they're always plotting against us.
Right.
Verse 1.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
Go on.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee, have lifted up the head.
Read that one more time.
Con, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee that have they hate thee have lifted up the head.
Make it so, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Go on.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
So they were taking crafty counsel against us. They were working together to go against us. Go on.
and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So they're trying to destroy us, right? They come together to try to find a way to destroy us. And this is an example of it in 2 Chronicles 12 and 3. How the king of Egypt has the Lubims, the Sukims, and the Ethiopians working together with him to try to destroy us. But let's go back. We got a piece up.
No, I was gonna say, and this happens all throughout the Bible. Them doing things to stop us, like even the nations coming together to stop Jerubbaal from building the temple. They all came together and they delayed the temple from being built. These are things that they constantly come against us with. Like even today, they have these meetings and these secret meetings on how they can constantly make us sin. I guess what? Put in pork in food. Making you think that the Sabbath day is on Sunday when they blatantly tell you that Sunday is the first day of the week. These are things that are out there for people to listen to and read, but they don't want to follow it.
Connor, let's go on. Let's go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 4. Today won't be that long of a class, but we're putting some edification out there though.
Con.
Go on.
It's the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 12 and verse 4. And he took the fenced cities which
Pertained
to Judah, and came to Jerusalem. Then came Shemaiah, the prophet, to Rehoboam, and to the princes of Judah, that were gathered together to Jerusalem because of Shishak, and said unto them, Thus saith the Lord, ye have forsaken me, and therefore have I also left you in the land of Shishak.
So Shemaiah the prophet came to Rehoboam to tell him that the Most High gave them to the hand of Shishak, the king of Egypt, right, for forsaking his laws. Go on.
Right. Whereupon the princes of Israel and the king humbled themselves.
So wait, what did they do?
The king humbled themselves.
So the princes of Israel and the king humbled themselves. So Israel and the king humbled themselves whenever they realize what they have done. Right? Go on. Let's see what happens.
And they said, The Lord is righteous.
Read on.
And when the Lord saw that they humbled themselves, the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah, saying, They have humbled themselves. Therefore, I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance.
So just like it said in 2 Chronicles 7 and 14, if you humble yourselves, your sins will be forgiven, right?
Come.
However, you will receive some punishment, and there's an example. This is the exact example of that. Read on.
And my wrath shall not be poured out upon Jerusalem by the hand of Shishak. Nevertheless, they shall be his servants, that they may know my service, Salakia, in the service of the kingdoms of the countries.
Read on. So, yeah, read on.
Verse 9. So Shishak, king of Egypt, came against Jerusalem and took away the treasures of the house of the Lord.
So the Most High still let Shishak come and take away the treasures of the house of the Lord. Go on.
And the treasures of the king's house.
And the treasures of the king's house, which also included what? Read on.
He took all. He carried away also the shields of gold which Solomon had made.
Because Solomon had made these shields of gold, and Shishak came and stole those as well. So he may have not let Shishak come and kill off everybody. I mean, not kill, to destroy everybody, but he still had their treasures taken away. But read on.
Instead of which King Jerubbaal made shields of brass.
So after this happened, King Jerubbaal made shields of brass. Go on.
And committed them to the hands of the chief of the guard. That kept the entrance of the king's house.
So the chief guard kept the entrance of the king's house, which includes the king's like treasures and stuff like that. So he gave the authority of the brass shields to him. Go on.
And when the king entered into the house of the Lord, the guard came and fetched them and brought them again into the guard chamber.
So the guard was supposed to keep them in the guard chamber. Go on.
And when he humbled himself, the wrath of the Lord turned from him, that he would not destroy him altogether. And also in Judah, things went well.
So after he humbled himself, he wasn't going to destroy them all together, right? Instead, he just took his treasures and so on and so forth. Let's go to... Actually...
You got the precept? You got somewhere else to go?
No, that was actually my last one. So
give me Proverbs 6 and 6. Yeah, go ahead.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise.
So it's Proverbs. Proverbs is a book of wisdom. It's a book the author out here just gives you good ways to humble yourself. Like it's saying, consider the ant, thou sluggard, and consider her ways. What are the ways of an ant? An ant is humble in the way that, guess what? Each of them has a job, and they do their job to a T. If they got to go carry this rock, they go carry this rock. They walk in lines, and they go exactly where they need to go and do what they need to do. They humbled themselves. Read verse 7.
Verse 7, which having no God, overseer, or ruler.
So the ant has no guide, no overseer, no ruler. They don't have a God. They don't have a Christ. They don't have these people. Read verse 8.
Verse 8, provided her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest.
They do what they're supposed to do. So how are the ants able to do what they're supposed to do with no guide, no overseer, no ruler? And we have those things and we still go off. We have to humble ourselves by, guess what? Let's look at the ant. Let's see what the ant does. Let's take instruction from the ant. Keep reading.
Verse 9, how long wilt thou sleep?
It's saying, how long will you continue to be like this?
How long will you continue to sin?
Come.
Read the last part.
O sluggard, when wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Let me read.
No. Now give me Job 12 and 7.
Book of Job, chapter 12 and verse 7. And it reads, but as now the beast, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall teach thee, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee.
The Most High God is citing all these things in ways they're going to teach you. Give me Ecclesiastes 1 and 5.
All right,
so these are examples of things that are humble. We get to read.
Con, it's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
The sun also ariseth,
Uh-huh.
and the sun goeth down,
Uh-huh.
and hasteth to his place where he arose.
So the sun is an example of something that's humble. The sun, it rises, it sets, it rises, it sets, it does its job. That is the sun's job. The sun will always do that job until the Most High God tells it to not do it anymore. So that is an example of something being humble. Keep reading.
The wind goeth toward the south.
Guess what? The winds. There's wind circuits around the earth. They do exact same thing every year. They follow this exact same pattern. That's how you can predict storms, because winds. They have a job. They do their job. Keep reading.
And turneth about unto the north. Unto the north.
Uh-huh.
It whirleth about continually.
Continually.
Uh-huh.
And the wind returneth again according to his circuits.
Kind. Keep
Right.
reading.
Verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea,
Uh-huh.
yet the sea is not full.
This right here is going into the water cycle. A lot of people say the Bible doesn't deal with science. This right here is science. Read that over again. Let's explain this.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea,
It says all the rivers in the earth, they run into the sea. Keep reading.
yet the sea is not full.
Yet the sea is not full. How is the sea not full? You have something called the water cycle. Guess what? Water is evaporated from the ocean. It goes up. It creates clouds, and the clouds, they rain over the earth again. That's how the ocean is not full, because of the water cycle. These are all jobs and humbleness. All these things are humble, and they do their job perfectly. Keep reading.
Unto the place from whence the rivers come.
Uh-huh.
Thither they return again.
Now read verse 8.
Verse 8. All things are full of labor.
It says everything is full of labor. Everything just mentioned is full of labor. They have a job. They have a purpose. Keep reading.
Man cannot utter it.
Man cannot understand it, because man, our purpose is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And guess what? We're not understanding that. We don't want to humble ourselves down. That's why you have verses like Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Guess what? The whole duty of man is to keep the laws. How can the sun rise up and set? How can the moon do what it's supposed to do? How can the water do what it's supposed to do and be humble? And they don't have a ruler like the ant. The ant doesn't have an overseer. We do, and we don't want to humble ourselves.
Hey, Capt, probably some notes real quick.
Go ahead.
You know what this remind me of? Everything is perfect except for Israel, because Israel don't want to be right. Just like Isaiah 1 and 3.
Con.
Matter of fact, we get that real quick.
Before you get that, read this.
The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the
Keep reading.
nor the ear filled with hearing.
It says the eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. This is going back into wanting to follow after these vain philosophies and deceits. That's why you have verses like Colossians 2 and 8 and 2 and 18. Let no man beguile you, because guess what? There are people out here who are not satisfied with the basics. They're not satisfied with the simplicity that is Christ. They want to go and they want to go look for things that are just not in the Bible. Go ahead, get your precept.
Yeah, we can bring it up.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
The ox knows his owner. The ant know what to do. The wind know what to do. The waters in the ocean know what to do. But guess what? Keep reading.
And the ass his master's crib.
And they know where he lives. And they know how to get to him. You could drop a donkey off, say, 20 miles away from home. And they know how to find that home back. But guess what? Keep reading.
But Israel doth not know.
But Israel do not know, because Israel just cannot get it right. And we do this every time and time and time again. This is what happened. This is the problem with Israel and the people in Israel. Everybody else knows what to do. The ants, the water, the sun, the wind, the moon, the animals. Everybody know what to do, but Israel. That's the problem. That's the problem with this right now. And all that spill that Brother Job just got me think about this. There you go.
You should read on.
And
Oh yeah, you read that.
My people doth not consider.
People don't consider. Read 4.
Verse 4. In a sinful nation.
A sinful nation. We sin all the time. Because guess what? We break the Most High's commandments. because we wicked. Keep reading.
A people laden with iniquity.
A people laden with iniquity. We got iniquity all on us. Keep reading.
A seed of evildoers.
A seed of evildoers.
Children.
Keep reading.
Children that are corrupters.
Corrupters, like we break stuff. Everything we touch, it break because we so wicked, and the Most High's not following us or listening to us no more. Keep reading.
They have forsaken the Lord.
They forsaken the Lord. They don't even think of the Lord no more. They put the Most High God behind them and kept on driving. Keep reading.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger.
They provoked the Holy One of Israel to anger. They provoked Christ to anger. Keep reading.
They are gone away backward.
They've gone away back. We gone away back. If we take a step forward and take 50 steps back. That's how backwards we are. That's all I got.
All right, Khan. And with that, we'll say shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you for tuning into this very short class. But let's get this law. It's not necessarily a law, but like kind of
Statue or
somewhat. It's going into how the new moon, we can't buy or sell on the new moon, right? Let's go to Amos chapter 8 and verse 5.
Right, this book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone?
So these are this is Israel, right? Complaining about when the new moon and when the Sabbath will be over with. Go on.
That we
Read from the top again.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 5. And it reads, saying, when will the new moon be gone? That we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small, and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit.
Read on.
Verse 6, that we may buy the poor for silver, and the needy for a pair of shoes. Yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat.
So they're asking, complaining, when can we sell this? When can we do that? Because there was currently the new moon and or the Sabbath as well. So we can't sell. That's just an example of why we can't sell or buy anything on the Sabbath. I mean on the new moon, right? We obviously know we can't buy anything on the Sabbath. But yeah. With that, we'll say shalom.
So,
Shalom.